All right, so if we're going to find the limiting reactant, the first step here is that we need to figure out what we know about everything. So in the problem it says if you have 30 grams of zinc and 30 grams of O2, how much ZnO or zinc oxide can you produce? So if we take a look here, we're saying that we have 30 grams of zinc and 30 grams of O2. We don't know how many grams of this we have. Our goal is to go from zinc into zinc oxide, and then from oxygen also into zinc oxide. So let's start with our zinc turning into zinc oxide. Let's start with what we know. 30 grams of zinc. We know that we can go from grams into moles. So for every 1 mole of zinc, we know that the molar mass of zinc is 65.38. So 65.38 grams. That crosses off grams of zinc with grams of zinc. In our next bracket here, we can use our mole ratio. For every 2 moles of zinc, we get 2 moles of zinc oxide. Crosses off moles of zinc and moles of zinc. Last but not least, we can go from moles of zinc oxide into grams of zinc oxide. For every 1 mole of zinc oxide, it has a molar mass of 81.38 grams. That crosses off moles of ZnO, moles of ZnO. If you multiply by what's on the top and divide by what's on the bottom, 37.34 grams of zinc oxide. So what that's saying is if we use all 30 grams of zinc, we can ultimately produce 37.34 grams of zinc oxide. Let's see how this changes now if we use our oxygen. Sorry, I'm kind of scrolling all over the place for you here. All right. 30 grams of O2. We can go from grams of O2 into moles of O2. For every 32 grams of O2, that's the molar mass, it weighs 1 mole. Grams of O2 and grams of O2 cancel out. Our next parenthesis is our mole ratio. For every 1 mole of O2, we get 2 moles of ZnO. And remember, these mole ratios just come from the coefficients that's in our equation here. Moles of O2, moles of O2. We can go for moles of ZnO. For every 1 mole of ZnO, we have a molar mass of 81.38 grams of ZnO. Moles cancels moles. If we do some math here, we ultimately get an answer of 152.58 grams of ZnO. So if we use all 30 grams of oxygen, we can produce 152.58 grams of zinc oxide. If we use all 30 grams of zinc, we can produce 37.34 grams of zinc oxide. When we're looking at which one we can actually produce, it's going to come down to the one that's the less amount, right? So we can produce 37.34 grams. The reason that we can do that is because the zinc is our limiting reactant. So that answers number 2 here. What's your limiting reactant? The zinc is. The reason the zinc is a limiting reactant, if you think back to when we did the s'mores examples, if you have 100 marshmallows and you have 10 graham crackers, the marshmallows allow you to make 100 s'mores, the graham crackers allow you to make 10. You can only make what those graham crackers are going to let you make, right? Because without graham crackers, it's not a s'more. So in the case of the equation that we just looked at, the zinc allows us to produce 37.34 grams. The oxygen allows us to produce 152.58 grams. Even though there's enough oxygen to produce this amount, we're going to run out of zinc, right? Just like we were going to run out of the graham crackers. So you can only produce the lower amount. Question number 3 is getting at those definitions from a previous slide that you just took some notes on. So what's your theoretical yield? How much zinc oxide can you actually make? We can actually make 37.34 grams of zinc oxide.